I think my passion for law primarily before, my specialization, I have always been passionate about law, the legal field, and I'm an adrenaline junkie. I'm like, I really like adventurous things. And I think, of course, law itself is, I've always been drawn towards this profession, probably because this is my calling, but criminal law is very challenging and the most challenging aspect of the legal spectrum. So I think this is the reason why I'm more attracted to, I find this particular field, criminal law, far more challenging. And that is the reason I find, even more, I'm even more like passionate towards it. But otherwise, of course, I own a law firm that deals with all branches of law. But of course, I specialize in criminal law, and my commitment towards towards the principles of justice, and to upholding the principle of justice, and to secure justice for clients, secure their release, secure acquittal for them, and to represent them, and to become a voice for the voiceless, and to, of course, to support their rights and to speak up for them. I think that is also one of the reasons why criminal law, I find criminal law very interesting. So I think, of course, it is. I know that to be successful at a young age in this field of law is, of course, is a surprising aspect for many people, because when I started out, the moment I passed out, of course, I was interning as a law student also. The moment I started out, as a lawyer, and I just started out my own, the moment I passed out. And I completed my LLB while I was doing my master's. So I was, of course, told by many people that, just why don't you pursue corporate law? Why don't you pursue the corporate sector? Why don't you get into films? Just take the easy route. Why are you getting into the criminal? Why are you getting into this field? Like, why are you, taking up criminal cases? You have to deal with criminals, and that would be very risky. So I think, of course, all these challenges and all these questions and preconceived notions were, of course, brought up before me. And I was asked several questions. I was, of course, even dissuaded by a lot of people, telling me, hey, listen, while I was even getting death threats in a lot of cases, I was told by many people, including one of my family members, that, just stay away from criminal part of it. Just stay away from don't take up criminal cases, and then you can just continue with the rest of the field. With the field taking up the other sort of cases, not necessarily criminal cases. But despite of that, I never got discouraged or dissuaded. I just kept moving forth, undeterred. And I think my passion has remained my strength. And I think that because I never budged because of, and all these, preconceived notions never became any barrier in my head. I was always very confident that all these barriers, collapse if you're very confident about your skill, your art. And that's what I've been. I just truly work towards my craft, and I just work hard. And that's the reason I think I've been able to create a niche for myself at a young age. Honestly, there's a long list, and of course, it's a very different ball game altogether while I'm dealing with the high profile cases, because I'm subjected to media scrutiny. There's an external pressure, a lot of questions, and a lot of course, opinions. Public opinion basically is formed while I'm handling. While I'm defending the client, there's already a public opinion about the client being guilty before the court declares the person guilty. My client guilty or innocent in the court of law. So, there have been, of course, all cases are special for me. I worked with immense dedication on each and every case. But if you ask me to speak about few cases, then I would say, I think one of the most challenging cases would, of course, no doubt, the top murder case of the country, which is Sheena Bora murder case. When I took up this case, and while I was handling Indrani Mukherjee's case, I think I was told by a lot of people that, don't take up this case at such a young age, when, she's already, when there were a lot of rejections. Her bail applications were rejected several times before I took it up. So that time also I was told by a lot of people, don't take it up, because, of course, this is a case of rejection. But somehow I was very confident when I took it up, and I decided that once I've taken it up, I have to get her out, because I believed in her innocence. And I definitely worked on the whole entire strategy completely in a new manner. And I went through the case thoroughly. And of course, with my dedication and passion, I got her out. Even in encounter matter, while I was defending a model and an alleged gangster also in that case, that time also I was getting death threats. And but despite of the threats, I never bowed down. I continued to defend my client, and I got her out. And when that model, when she came out, she smiled at me and she tells me that, you've given me a second life. I owe the second life to you. And then, just within a few months, she was killed. I think that definitely, I was deeply disturbed by that incident when she was killed within a few months of her release, because I was really expecting that, she had she could have a flourishing life, after her release. But somehow, unfortunately, what happened, of course, moved me in a way that I realized that, everything is very temporary. But despite of that, I also became all the more adamant that no matter what, I will be unstoppable. I will continue to defend my clients' rights even more vigorously. So that's what how I already mentioned, with media, of course, comes public scrutiny. And when there is public scrutiny, people already create public opinion, and people already have notion about my clients. Many a times they already feel, due to, media narratives being built around the whole case. Sometimes, clients feel that sometimes. But despite of, the external pressure, the media pressure, I think my specialization is that I maintain the clarity, and I maintain that, honesty between the media and between my communication. I always give out all correct, accurate information about the case, so that, it gets projected fairly, without prejudice, without causing any prejudice to prosecution or my client's case. And I think that is the core of it. And apart from that, I think, to be able to, to be able to move forth despite of the challenges is what my speciality has been. I'm known to crack all the challenges and all the, and all, I mean, challenges, challenging and worst kind of cases I've cracked. And I think I'm known for that, most difficult cases have been cracked by me. And one of the reasons, besides passion, is my honesty and dedication towards my craft and towards my work, that I focus and I concentrate on each and every aspect of my case, and I work towards it with immense passion. So of course, with media, I always ensure and always ensure that there is clarity in communication, and that helps in all the cases that I deal with, and all the high profile cases. And of course, always the outcome is positive, touchwood, mashallah, because of my dedication and because of my hard work. Yeah, definitely. In fact, I'm a firm believer that, like when I started out, I was told by several people that, hey, listen, before your hair turns gray, before you become like super old, you're not going to taste success in this legal industry. And I actually destroyed all these notions. I have literally, I'm a living proof that you don't need to be like 50-year-old or 40, above 40 to actually taste success in this profession, because I started out young and I got success at a young age. So of course, any lawyer can become successful at a young age. You don't need to, of course, I respect senior lawyers, and seniority is something, that's something one must respect. But apart from that, with my track record, if you see, my track record is just as with, I've had a track record of cases won just as many as probably so many senior counsels, or more than, far more than in many cases. So that's only because I never really bow down to any of these, preconceived notions or the bubble that many people live under. I always believe in my own, in carving my own niche rather than following any fixed notion or any path. So I think that is the reason. And in fact, in my firm also, I hire, young lawyers, and it's so many interns and young people, so that, and I encourage them, I motivate them even more, so that, I create a bunch of young lawyers, more inspiring, and they are furthermore inspired to contribute effectively